Hey, what's up guys? How you all doing? Today I want to show you how to create this particular animation here. Now it's not exactly the same because on Jitter you have some things that you don't have in Canva and you have to do a whole lot of tweaking before you can get that. But I want to show you how I was able to replicate this Jitter template here that was created by the Jitter team. I want to show you how you can create something similar to that in Canva. And remember, you can use any document size you want to create this. So here is what I have already. I've created this. Maybe we might just want to use a new page. So it's okay. We can just use this. So what I did here, and I just need to mention this, when you're creating motion and you want to make sure that the next scene is smoothly or smartly animating with the previous screen, you need to use the animation called match and move. So when you're using match and move, it just makes that happen. But that can only happen when you have all of the images that you want to use on the very first page. So everything I want to do on this design, on this animation, I already have it on the first screen. So now what I did, I'm going to show you. Here's what I have. The second thing I did was I made sure that I went to settings and then I turned on my rulers and guides. This is going to be very helpful when you're creating this, so you can maintain every single position and make sure that the design is very accurate. That's the reason why I had to use the rulers and guides. And you can see here I've rightly placed them in the direction that I want them to be and how I just want them to appear. I have this one here vertically in the middle, and this first one here in the middle, this one is in just placed horizontally in the center. So I made sure that they were just aligned horizontally and vertically centered. Now what I did, again, you notice that right here we do have this. You're going to see that shortly. Okay, here you can see that the images just collapse and then expands, and that's the effect we want to create. But because I know that Canva doesn't have those single detail that I can actually add on different screens. For instance, for a particular element in Jitter, I can add multiple motions to one. I can add multiple effects, multiple animation to one particular element. But here in Canva, you will have to do a whole lot of tweaking to be able to get that done for you. So the first thing I did was I went ahead, after putting my rulers and all that, I went ahead to add my images. So all of these are image boxes. I'm going to show you. Here we have this. It's a duplicate. And if I go ahead and just show you what is here. So this is the same thing that I have here. And you're going to know later why I have this here, so you can also try that for yourself. Here you can see that I have the same images here, but this time around they are actually not in the same position. The only one that is positioned accurately is the very first image. The very first image is aligned how I want it to be, because that's what I'm going to be using. So now that I have this, I'm going to go back to undo everything so you can see that. And then I placed it here. If we're going to examine this, to inspect this, we go to the position and go to layer. Here is the group. This is the group that I have here without gaps. Okay. If you notice, there is no gap here. It doesn't have gaps. But the other one here, these are just individual images. These are just individual images with a gap of 5 pixels. So they have a gap of 5 pixels each. Okay, let me show you that so you see. So they have 7. Okay, they have 7. Now, after doing this, I went ahead and made sure that all of these grouped images are actually transparent to 0, because I don't want to use them. I don't want to review them right now, but I want them to be on the page, so when I'm adding my match and move transition, it will work smoothly. This is just what is called smooth animation, smart animate in Figma. That's just exactly what match and move actually does in Canva. Now that we have that for the first screen, I have pretty much everything that I want to have. Remember, if you go ahead and delete a page and just add another page and then paste these images, they literally would not work. So the best way for them to work is if you go ahead and duplicate this same page. So Smart Animate, which is match and move in Canva, actually works when you just use a duplicate of the original page. Now the second page, I made a duplicate of that here, and here, this is what I did. Okay, I moved this, I moved the grouped element also to the center, and this is why I have to use the grid line here, the rulers here. This is the center. I had to move this image here. You can look at it. This particular image here, this image, I had to move it to the center. Had to make sure it's actually positioned in the center. If you look at it, it's positioned in the middle and also in the center vertically. So that's where this is here. The next thing I needed to do was to also drag this same image here, the one that isn't grouped, and I dragged it to the top to also match this first image here, to match this one. So this is a grouped here, put it here to match this one. That way, when I'm using my match and move transition, it would just flow into it. That's why you have this here. And remember, everything here is still set to transparency 0 value. And the reason is I'm going to be using that for this. Watch this. You're going to see where these images are falling, and that's where we're going to use them. So here and here and here. So that's the reason why we have this ones here grouped together. If we didn't group this, it would be very difficult to have this effect. So this is how I do it. I just make sure I group everything together, and I can use them whenever I want to just move things. But then I can just, when I'm ready, I can just go ahead and start adding transparency, adding the transparency value to them. So that's how I did it. Okay, so this is for the second scene. This is for the second scene. Now for the third scene, which is here, this one, what I did, I went ahead and set every other independent image, set their values to 0. The transparency value, set all of them to 0. This way, I don't need to use them again, but because I have the exact position and I have this image coming right from the very first screen, transition will be very smooth. And that's why you have this right here. Notice this. If I go here and you can see it's set to 0, here is now set to visible. When doing this, I want to show you why this is going to be, why I needed to do this. So I'm just going to add them back so you can see, you know why. Now after doing this, I went ahead and added a smooth animation to them, which is the match and move. So let's just see. You can see here, it goes here and then it grows. Now you're going to see, you can see that that image is right there in the center, and we don't want to have that there. That's the reason why I had to set all of them to transparency value of 0. And doing that just made it very, very easy for us to use. Now we have this back to the way it was before. And then if I go to next, you can see that it's gone. So what I did here else, I came to realize that for the very first part of this, I added a rounded corner. And in Canva, when you're actually increasing the size of your element, if it's got rounded corners, it is going to affect the dimension or the size of that border radius. And that's the problem that this is having. And this can actually be fixed if you want. So this is what I'm talking about. You can see the corner radius here, and then increasing it, you can see the other one is showing here. And the reason why this is happening is because the image that we are enlarging is actually the image that we have on the canvas that is not set to 0 transparency. So if we come right here and we go to position, you can see here that we have all of these images right here. You can see we have all of them. And this is the group. And for this group, we actually, if we do this, you can see that it's gone entirely. And we don't want to have that happen for us. So that's why I just left it that way. It wasn't going to affect anything. I'm still going to get the same smooth animation that I wanted. And that was just cool. So it grows. Here that it grows. And then the other thing I did was, remember I told you that why we have this is because why we just kept this here is because we want to at some point add that scroll effect that goes horizontally from the top to the bottom. And that's why we have this other screen, because we're going to be using it now. And I'm going to show you why we did that. So here you can see we're here. Look at that. So we're here, and then this is the next part here. So since we have this is the entire screen here. This is it here. It's all grouped. Remember, this one is also not transparent. So if I make it transparent, you can see it. So I would make it transparent on the next page. That's how I went ahead to do that. So we have this here, and the same thing happened here on this one as well. If you check it, you notice that the next one is also not clear, so it doesn't have any this transparency value set to 0, and this is it set to 1. But then here is it. The same thing for the third one as well. You can see it as well here. This is what we have. It's also set to, you can see that. Great. And this is why you have to set them to have 0 transparency or 0 opacity, as you might want to call it. And then here we have it. And then finally you have this. Okay, you can see that. Did you see that? And the way it's coming, it's actually flowing through carefully. Now you could also decide to say from here, you could decide that from here you want to go over to position, and you want to just make them visible. Okay, you just want to make them visible. Not that, not here. From here, you want to make every single one of them visible. It's highly possible that you can do that, but you would have to delete all of these pages and do them again. So this is why I actually love to do everything on the first page, and then it's easier for me to just show or hide on the next page for elements that I don't need. And then we also got to the very last part here. So let's play this and see how this is going to look. See that? And then it grows, and then goes down and down and down. So that is exactly what we're having right here. You can go ahead and play with this and make it even more interesting for yourself. I do hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you like more walkthrough videos like this about behind the scene, just let me know in the comment and I will create more videos for you. If you also have a request, let me know in the comment and I will see how to create that tutorial specifically for you. Make sure to subscribe and like this video, share it as well to as many persons as possible. I'll see you guys in the next video.